Live from JMT Studios, it's time for Two Jersey Kids, the best video game podcast on the planet.
What is up, everybody? This is episode 42 of Two Jersey Kids. This is the episode where me and Gary are going to talk about, our top E3 games that have been talked about all throughout this week, and we're excited to share with you why we are excited about these games. But first, I am Adam Buckingham. I am the host of this video game podcast that is Two Jersey Kids. Alongside me is my best friend, the best stick handler in the business, Gary Seisel. How you doing today, Gary?
Excellent, sir. How's everything going?
It's going good. It's going good. I'm really excited to talk about our games. I know we're going to go into the news first. Just, stick to the end because that's when we're going to talk about it. But yeah, it's an exciting time. Remember, you can follow Two Jersey Kids at Two Jersey Kids. We release every Tuesday and Friday. Actually, we released twice this week because E3, it's a special time, so we sort of up the ante with what we do. I can only imagine when we finally become gigantic how many episodes we're going to have to release. It's going to be nuts.
Like 80 episodes a day. No,
just do little tidbits of like every game that we've seen at E3 because we're going to get that large. Let me tell you. I mean, we're at 83 episodes now, which is insane. Like total,
true.
The amount that we've done, it's nuts. I didn't realize we made so much. I remember talking to somebody on Twitter.
It's not even a year yet.
That is true. We're getting up to our year mark. It's pretty exciting. So before we get into all the news, everything that's been going on, I want to know, Gary, what have you been up to? What have you been up to, my man?
Well, good news. So, in my quest to build my PC, I only have two pieces that I'm waiting on now. I'm basically waiting on my hard drive, my normal hard drive. So I have like a solid-state drive, and then a terabyte hard drive that's going to basically store all my games and stuff like that. So I'm waiting on that.
Good.
Indeed. And I'm also waiting on Windows 10, which is obviously very important. I kind of need an operating system in order to operate this machinery. So, I'm waiting on that. And then basically after that, I'm going to buy a mouse, keyboard, and monitor.
The things you need.
Yeah, they're very, very important things. So that's basically all I'm waiting on. So
have you started the process of putting it together already, or are you just waiting until all the pieces get there until you start chugging away and putting it together?
I'm just waiting on everything to get here. I mean, I need that hard drive, very much. So I'm going to wait for that to get here, and then I'll get started on the building process. But
are you excited?
Other than that, though, I'm very excited because I've just I haven't had any motivation to play games lately, and I'm really looking forward to playing some computer games. No, seriously, there's nothing I want to play on PS4, so I'm excited to play some of the games on the PC. So
there's an E3 sale going on PSN. You can get Shadow of Mordor for $10. Solid price.
I know.
But you're not getting it because there's no games apparently.
No,
there's no games, people.
Nothing that interests me currently, and that's my opinion. And you know what? That's perfectly fine. So I'm waiting for my PC to get here and build it, and then I'll hopefully be happy again.
Keep telling yourself that, Gary.
Keep
telling yourself the grass is always greener. Fucking PC Master Race piece of shit, motherfucker! Don't fucking like him. Don't like him one bit.
All right. What have you been up to?
Honestly, this week. I haven't been up too much. I finally got to sit down and watch, because I didn't get to see it in the theaters. I got to see John Wick Chapter 2, because I saw that it was coming out in theaters way back when, and I was wondering what everyone was hyped about, and then I realized John Wick 1 apparently was really good, so I went out and rented it on, the PSN store, because it's pretty easy that way, because for some reason my cable box doesn't do HD, visual, it doesn't run HD for some fucking reason. It's kind of annoying. So yeah, I watched the first one. Fucking amazing. Great action movie. He's basically just the boogeyman assassin who just never misses a shot, basically, unless he's fighting another assassin on his level. It is perfect revenge story. Spoilers in the beginning, a dog dies, so that's enough for me to be like, it is fucking on. You're about to die, motherfucker. Dude, you kill a human in a movie, I'm like, okay, if I'm not too connected to the character, I'm like, okay. Yeah, you kill fucking any dog in a movie, you're dead. You're dead to me. You are going to die. But yeah, I watched, I think Chapter 2 was even better, and it's going to continue with Chapter 3. I mean, they had just a continuation from the first movie to now the second movie, and it seems like there's going to be a continuation to the third movie. And I like how they're building up. It's kind of like they're building up like an assassin world. There's a code of ethics that he essentially broke. There's a lot of rules that go into the place, and he kind of got strung into this place that he's in now at the end of this movie. So they kind of piece together every movie now is like, I think, going to be somewhat basically connected or continuation of the last one, which I think it's great because the fucking start of this movie just went balls to the wall, just started off as amazing, just amazing. I really love this movie. Sorry, I'm cursing. It's late at night. When I'm tired and trying to do this, my filter gets less and less. So I apologize if I say,
ladies and gentlemen.
I apologize if I say anything too crude. Which, if you've already listened to this podcast, you know I can get pretty crude. So I apologize if I curse too much. It's just the nature of the beast that is recording a little late. So yeah, but that's basically what I've been up to. I haven't played too much of the Surge. I got to another boss who's been annoying the crap out of me, but I need to, sit down and actually try to beat him and not, take it like go back to it every like 30 minutes, like every other day, because that'll never work out for me in my favor. But I'm still enjoying it. But yeah, that's basically what I've been playing the Killing Floor 2 with Gary. I think we're going to have an episode next week about it, if I'm certain.
Definitely. We got to get playing it. We got to play that again. It's been a little while.
Yeah, it's definitely a good party shooter, honestly. But
for sure.
Don't want to go too much into it. But yeah, that's what I've been up to. Gary, it is not time for the session that is brought to you by Gatorade, but not really, because you forgot this week. Or you probably just...
No, I didn't. No, folks, I didn't forget. This is actually an intentional omission to the podcast. The reason being here is, like I said, like Adam said, it's late, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm leaving out This Week in Gaming. I wanted to save it for a time where I can actually sit down, find the games, and actually find interesting information to tie along with the whole segment. So, Adam, take the wheel. Take it to the news.
The news, okay. There was an article written up by Jeffrey Matlouf over at Eurogamer about Beyond Good and Evil. Kind of a long article, so I'm going to summarize most of it with some bullet points that he wrote. He writes, first things first, Beyond Good and Evil 2 will let you create your own character. You can choose to be a male or female. Series creator Michelle Ansel confirmed in the Ubisoft blog post report, and behind closed door tech demo saw the player character represented by the Monkey Man from the trailer Nox, as we hope that jetpack isn't just for show. He boasted that Beyond Good and Evil 2 will feature an entire procedurally generated star system that's so complex that even planets will rotate around the sun, creating simulated sunsets. Quote, there is a simulation of the universe where everything is rotating in the classical way. So if you change the time, you see the rotation. If you know what a sunset is a modification of the color of the sun depending on the angle of the atmosphere. So it's really logical. In fact, you can see different colors, end quote. He continues on in a statement, quote, cities can grow by themselves, they can be destroyed, they can connect to others, everything is live. In fact, it's not pre-scripted. Even us, we don't know exactly what's on this planet. We know there are things, but we don't know exactly where they are. We don't know exactly what it is. So it sounds like right there, it's kind of has vibes of No Man's Sky. Just hopefully it'll be more dense than what is No Man's Sky, because the solar system or the universe was very vast, but kind of shallow when you got onto the planets, at least at launch. And then finally, he writes about the type of system that it'll be. Quote, I would say the adventure system is classic. It's simple, but you have a lot of freedom in a way of solving things. So it's interesting to imagine a game where you can decide to do this or that. And the order is not that much important, and the way you manage the problem is your way of playing, end quote. Kind of seems like a straightforward adventure style. Now you see nowadays with like Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, apparently people have been comparing this, this statement to what you can do in Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and a lot of other action-adventure games now, because you can't just, a lot of people don't like it when it's an open world and you can only go one linear route to solving an issue. But Gary, I can always I put this article in here because I know a lot of people want to know what is going on with Beyond Good and Evil. It's been 15 years in the making. I know a lot of people that listen to the podcast are into this. One in particular, Allison, who is pretty hyped about this. And I kind of made a statement where you haven't seen much yet. They didn't show off much to normal people watching on the outside. So I don't want the hype train, which it sounds like it's starting to build up. I don't want the hype train to get really large, because I think I've learned to, settle down on, hopping on the hype train too quickly. Let's see what they have. Let's see when it's finally going to come out. Let's see if they actually can produce and deliver when they say they're going to deliver this new game.
I completely agree. And I also think that anytime you're dealing with something that's procedurally generated, especially after No Man's Sky, you kind of have to be a little hesitant to, again, jump on the hype train, as you would say. I think the good thing is that this is going to be a procedurally generated star system, so not necessarily a universe, so it's not something quite on the scale of No Man's Sky. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's not easy by any means, but it's not something as large. So hopefully the experience that they provide is something with a little more meat to it. There's a lot more going on, and you can kind of immerse yourself in the world because, let's be honest, No Man's Sky was cool. It was a really interesting kind of game, but it's not something that could really hold. Yeah, I very much enjoyed it. And the only fortunate thing is that it isn't something that's really going to hold your attention for long because the game wasn't that deep. So hopefully in this game they learn from No Man's Skies or Hello Games' mistakes and can produce something
too much.
Yeah. And hopefully they can produce something that's a little more worthwhile.
Because people have been waiting 15 years for this game, so I feel like if you start promising way too much, people will get hyped. Because, they've been clamoring for Beyond Good and Evil 2 for 15 years now, since the first one has such a niche following, that it just... This could be, I feel like this is a tightrope they're walking. You don't want to, give too much away. You don't want to say too much that you're going to deliver on something, because that can lead to vitriol from, the fans that have stuck around and waited for you for so long to deliver this game. And now, if you deliver something that's, half-assed or doesn't seem like it quite delivers everything you promised, I can see a lot of vitriol coming back their way. Unfortunately, that's the way the video game industry is nowadays.
Yeah, you look at games like Destiny, for example, that when they were in development and when it was leading up to that release date, you had a bunch of people saying that the story was going to rival Star Wars, which in my opinion is absolutely absurd. But now, it's interesting with Destiny 2, you see them being a little more conservative with what they're revealing to people or what they're talking about. They aren't being as arrogant, I think, as they were in the past. So, you just hope that this game, they kind of keep it on the rails and it doesn't get out of control.
Yeah. So, wait, Gary, you're telling me that the To the Moon line would not be in any Star Wars movie at all?
Don't even get me started on that. The sad thing is that isn't even the worst line in that game. Believe me, that isn't the worst line.
Can you name a worse line off the top of your head?
Sure. I'll tell you one right now by the stranger in the game, and she says, "I have no time to explain why I don't have time to explain." Yeah, that's a line. That was written down, that was read off, and they thought it was good.
It's so ambiguous. I guess they just wanted to make that character just, such a badass. She doesn't have the time to explain why she doesn't have the time. That's quality stuff, writers. Good job. Moving on. According to Miyamoto, Pikmin 4 is still progressing. Tom Phillips over at Eurogamer writes, Nintendo legend Shigeru Miyamoto has given an update to Eurogamer on its long-awaited next Pikmin project. Speaking to me at E3, Miyamoto did not give much away, but confirmed the project is still in development. Quote, "I've been told not to share anything about this from PR, but I can tell you it's progressing." It's been 2 years since Miyamoto first mentioned his next Pikmin game back in July 2015. So I sort of included this also because this is another game that Allison, one of our, listeners, our big fans, was mentioning on Twitter, and I just sort of threw that in for her because, she said that would get her interested. That's the only IP, consistent Nintendo IP that she would actually go back to and, wouldn't give crap to sticking with the same gameplay, just changing it a little bit. So yeah. Also realize we're not alienating other fans. We listen to you too, but Allison, we just heard you know, that's just what I do. I don't know what I'm saying, Gary. What am I saying? Help me, save me.
You're so inclusive.
I inclusive. What am I saying, Gary?
It's a damn good question.
Gary, how are you feeling about this podcast so far? You think it's going well?
Yeah, it's going about as well as all of our other ones.
That's true. You said you wanted to eat. What do you plan on eating after we're done recording this podcast?
Nothing healthy, probably.
Nothing
McDonald's
healthy,
or something.
McDonald's. Wow, you're gonna drive back out and go get some Mickey D's, or do you have some saved up?
Yeah. Well, see, it's such a nice night out here in New Jersey right now. We've been having great weather for people that aren't familiar with New Jersey, but it's been one of those things where I don't mind driving because it's so nice out, and I can just get something to eat and then come back.
It's so ironic because it's so nice out that I can go take a drive in my car and not actually experience the weather.
Well, I'll roll down the windows. I always do.
Oh no, that's nice. That's nice. I was gonna say,
man.
If you have leftover McDonald's, you might want to watch out. You don't know how to microwave that shit because you never know what
Get the hell out. Who the hell? There's no way in hell I would ever microwave McDonald's. No way.
It's the same thing. Like I remember, I used to eat Taco Bell in college all the time because it was close to our engineering, engineering department where we had all of our classes, and you only had to eat Taco Bell within like the hour that you get it, or it'll just turn into something disgusting.
Yeah, it's terrible.
All the chemicals start mixing together and becomes awful.
I just hate Taco Bell because I never feel satisfied by it. I just feel like I'll eat 3 tacos and I'm like, well, when's dinner? You know, it's just never satisfied.
When's the next bathroom run? That's basically when you
have
to realize.
That's definitely true.
Sometimes Taco Bell can, F up the system real bad.
Yeah.
Real bad.
I haven't had Taco Bell probably in about 5 years. I'm not even lying.
It's good. I haven't had it in a while either. So, good on us. Don't eat Taco Bell out there. Sorry if Taco Bell, if you plan on sponsoring us, you're not sponsoring us anymore. Just kidding. We would take any sponsor. So, yeah. I love Taco Bell. Moving on. Ashley Burch is heartbroken. She won't play Chloe in the Life is Strange prequel. Cecilia D'Antasui, I fucked that up. I can't say names. In Kotaku article, she writes, the longest strike in the Screen Actors Guild's history chugs on. The video game voice actors are making painful career choices to show solidarity with their union. 234 days into the strike, after Microsoft announced Life is Strange before the storm, fans immediately sussed out that award-winning voice actor and SAG-AFTRA member Ashley Burch will not reprise her original role as a rebellious teen Chloe. Shortly after Microsoft's E3 presentation, Burch, who has voiced Aloy in Horizon Zero Dawn and Tiny Tina in Borderlands 2, said that Square Enix has decided to go with a non-union actress. Quote, "I'm pretty heartbroken," Burch told Kotaku. She continues, quote, "It feels sort of like you were forced to put your child up for adoption." And quote, Burch's performance as Chloe in the original Life is Strange earned her the Best Gaming Performance Award at the 2015 Golden Joystick Awards. She will stay on the prequel project as a writer and consultant. In October 2015, SAG-AFTRA members voted to strike against 11 video game companies, including EA, Activision, and Take-Two. Video game voice actors comprise a large part of the union, and since early 2015, several had been in negotiation with game companies over better compensation. Quote, "Nobody's become an actor in order to not act," end quote. Phil Lamar, who sits on the SAG-AFTRA's interactive negotiating committee, told Kotaku. Lamar, an experienced film, television, and voice actor, had voiced Aquaman in Injustice 2 prior to the strike. Lamar said he is disappointed that if negotiations remain on hold, he wouldn't be able to reprise his role if there's DLC or future Injustice game. Quote, "Fortunately, there are a lot of companies that have looked at what we're asking for and said, oh, that makes sense. There are a lot of games we're not able to continue working on, but there are a lot of new games too," end quote. "Primarily, these voice actors want residuals. Post-release payments dependent on game sales. The strain placed on voice actors' voices when characters die, are injured, or run screaming into battle seriously impacting their well-being." SAG-AFTRA has argued that and the fact that game publishers' desire for absolute secrecy often leads them to obscure what game voice actors are even working on can make these gigs particularly tough, the union says. Since the strike began, SAG-AFTRA has signed agreements with over 30 game companies covering over 40 games. No voice actors have broken the strike, so when Burch was approached by the Square Enix about voicing Chloe in the just-announced Life is Strange prequel, she had to make a decision. Quote, "When the strike happened, you know there will be sacrifice you have to make," Burch said. "This particular one is generally pretty difficult for me. It wasn't one that I was anticipating. This is my sacrifice, and it's a big one," end quote. Burch feels that SAG-AFTRA's demands are reasonable, not just for her and her colleagues, but for up-and-coming voice actors too. The strike persists, she said, so SAG-AFTRA can ensure that anyone involved in the industry will be safeguarded. But that doesn't mean hearing another woman voice Chloe's doesn't hurt. Chloe, a deeply flawed and endearing character with whom fans have developed a strong connection, is the main character's best friend, a blue-haired, angry girl who, Burch said, quote, "in core desperately wants to feel safe, loved, and lovable," end quote. Whew. Gary, what are your thoughts on all of this, everything? We didn't touch on everything in the article. I think I gave the brief synopsis. Well, I didn't give the brief synopsis. I read up to the point where I think we got the point of what this article was getting at.
Well, first of all, I think this article kind of shows you the downsides of unionizing. It can cost you in the end, in a way that you wouldn't, I guess, think possible. But additionally, I think this story kind of just sucks. I mean, it kind of just shows you that a lot of these companies, these $1 million companies, $1 billion companies, don't really care whether or not you want to work for them or not. They'll find less expensive talent if they have to, not necessarily less expensive, but non-union talent, and they can basically just fill in the spots. And it's a shame because a lot of games, for me anyway, are determined by the voice acting. I mean, you can have a really good story, but if you don't have a good voice actor or a good character or a good voice actor to voice the characters in your story, it can often take away from the experience. So it's a shame. I mean, it's a shame for her, obviously, that she has to not be in the game that she loved working on, and
especially it's kind of sucks because she's staying on as a writer and consultant. That's just like insult to injury. You're staying there. You're going to be seeing somebody else act this character that you put your heart and soul into.
It's almost like a middle finger.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's a lose-lose for everybody, really. It's bad for her, and it's also bad for the fans that really enjoyed her work. So, unfortunate.
Yeah, I think this makes sense. And I think that because you see that these in TV shows and movies now, residuals for the actors that are, put under crazy strains of, shooting the movie, shooting a TV show, staying in a certain shape, you losing a lot of weight or gaining a lot of weight. You see that all the time. But I also think in the video game industry, I think everybody that is on the creative side of the game should deserve some sort of residual. Because it's not just the voice actors that are, touching on. They're not the only creative ones. I think there is an argument to be made that also the developers should be getting residuals because they have a creative input into this. They are sitting, doing late hours, sometimes crunching together like hours on end, trying to develop this beautiful world that these people are going to be running around and playing in, and sometimes they're going to be sitting there developing a bunch of trees that no one will ever really stop and look at, but they're putting in time and effort, and their livelihoods on the line. And I've heard stories from people that are more on the insider that sometimes this can affect people's lives, and that sometimes affects people's marriages, that they are so ingrained in trying to create a good product for the people that are a fan base to what these developers create. And sometimes it can be rough when you're coming home late at night, working 10, 12, 15 hours, who knows, especially towards the end when the game's getting close to being certified. It's just, it can put a lot of strain, and I feel like it's not just the voice actors that, require residuals for putting in a lot of time and stress and strain on their own body. And I think Nolan North in his Game Awards speech sort of touched on that, is that performance matters, but it's also the performance of the developers and the programmers and the artists and everybody that's involved in the project. I mean, that's just what I think anyway.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. And I mean, it's kind of insane if you think about it that they aren't paid more depending on how the game does. If the game's very successful, they don't get paid more for their efforts. They're kind of just paid that flat wage or whatever that may be.
Yeah.
I And it's crazy to me because if you think about it, like a game like Uncharted, for example, has Nolan North as Drake. Without him, that really isn't Uncharted to me. You know what I mean? Like he did such a great job. He was such a big part of why that game, for me anyway, was such a great game. And
but if you don't have the writers, then you also don't have Nathan Drake. There's a lot of people
that's the thing. I'm not downplaying anybody else, but I'm just saying that it just shows you that they're frequently overlooked. Voice actors, anybody in the creative team, and it's a shame.
Yeah, it's also, I kind of understand how, doing a bunch of die sounds and, running away can be a strain on your voice. I did a solo episode of this, and I was just talking normally, and my voice was killing me by the end of the day. But moving on to, it's not going to be as long of a, article. Why do I keep saying, it's late at night, and I just keep, saying, PlayerUnknown's Battleground is getting a zombies versus humans PvP mode, according to Jeff Plouffe over at Eurogamer. It was revealed on a Twitch stream earlier in the week. This upcoming mode will separate from the game's core Battle Royale mode, in which several people compete in a last man standing survival challenge set across a large landscape where players must scavenge for supplies. This is interesting that they're having a zombies versus humans PvP mode. It's kind of funny because we've been playing the Killing Floor, which has this mode in it. I don't know if it's going to be like a mix of, what was the Arma 2 mod way back when? Not way back when, but it was like, was it DayZ? Is that what it's called? Where zombies were in the game. It was kind of like...
That sounds familiar,
It was kind of like PlayerUnknown's Battleground and H1Z1 King of the Kill, but there were zombies also involved in this. And now it seems like players will be able to play as a zombie. It's interesting, they're trying to add on to what Unknown's Battlegrounds actually is. It's not just one singular game mode, which people do love.
Yeah, I have to say I'm intrigued by this game. Not necessarily this version, but I'm also kind of intrigued by H1Z1. I mean, I've watched it played so many times, and it's just it seems so like the game seems so janky and so like messed up at times, like where like the hit detection isn't like there, or something glitches, or people hacking the game. But for some reason, I'm just still drawn to this game for some reason, and I'm not really quite sure yet if I'm actually going to buy it or not when I do get my PC up and running.
That's why I love the old NBA Live games, because you could sprint up and down the court no matter what, and just throw down dunks.
Well, that's the thing about H1Z1. I feel like it was a lot more fun to it probably seems like a lot more fun to play and watch, whereas PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds kind of seems like a slower version of that game. More polished, but slower.
I do enjoy watching people play that game. I think it's fun to watch people.
I don't know. Sometimes, like, I just feel like sometimes it's just so drawn out. Like, there's no real action happening. They're kind of just running along for a while. I mean, it depends. There's times like that in H1Z1 as well.
Have you watched, what the fuck's that guy's name? The streamer you always watch for Destiny? Has he played this?
Real Crafty.
Yeah, Real Crafty. Has he played?
He has.
Has it not entertained you?
It hasn't been as great. I mean, he even says himself that he doesn't really like it that much either. He doesn't really play it at all. He usually played H1Z1 because in that game he could kind of run around more and it was a lot more fast paced. So, I mean, that's just my opinion. But it's going to be interesting to see what this game mode does. At least, it just kind of seems out of nowhere that they decided to throw in the zombies versus humans PvP mode.
Yeah.
But, hell, I mean, it's kind of one of those games I feel like where you can go in any direction because it's such an open game already.
That's true.
So who knows what the hell will happen next.
I kind of want to finish this portion of the article. And Gary, you can tell me why I want to finish it. When I read it, let me know why you think I wanted to finish this. Developer Bluehole's community manager, known on Twitter as Poopy Queen, noted that while new content is coming, the studio's primary focus right now is optimizing the game to decrease lag. Quote, just because we are introducing new content does not mean we ignore the issue. Server engineers still focus on their usual work, quote, end quote. Poopy Queen tweeted, quote, we have repeated it many times that optimization is our highest priority, end quote. Gary, why did I want to say the rest of that article?
Let me guess, because of the username. I can't imagine.
Yeah, I wanted to say Poopy Queen twice, let's be honest.
I feel like if you're supposed to be like, the community manager, I mean, I guess it's a funny name and people will remember it, but come on. That's the name? I don't know.
Why not? It's memorable. Come on.
It's definitely memorable.
You're going to say, if you wake up tomorrow, you're not going to remember that we talked about Poopy Queen on Twitter? Let's be real.
You got a point. That's true.
I know, right? Right? I got good points. That's why everyone here listens to Two Jersey Kids, because I bring the points. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying.
Genius.
Gary, apparently somebody over at PlayStation decided to defend their decision. Jim Ryan, the global sales and marketing head of Sony, decided to defend their decision for no, crossplay. And I just wanted to read through sort of the points that he was making. The interviewer starts off, says, the interviewer states, Minecraft works cross-platform between... You know what, Gary? Instead of me reading it, I want to do a role-play session here. You want to be the interviewer and I'll be Jim Ryan? Okay, that sounds like a good time.
Sure, okay. Absolutely. So, Jim, let me ask you a question here. Minecraft works cross-platform between Switch, Xbox, and PC. Today, Rocket League was announced as working cross-platform between Switch, Xbox, and PC. Both don't work cross-platform with PlayStation. Now, is this Sony not playing ball? What is actually going on here?
Jim Ryan here. It's certainly not profound philosophical stance we have against this. We've done it in the past. We're always open to conversations with any developer or publisher who wants to talk about it. Unfortunately, it's commercial discussion between ourselves and other stakeholders, and I'm not going to get into the detail of that on this particular instance. And I can see your eyes rolling.
Interesting points. Now, if I may ask and continue, well, you must see that PlayStation owners are upset. They want you to play with Switch owners, PC owners, and Xbox One owners for these two big and important games, and they don't have an explanation for why. That's what I'm getting at, really.
Jim Ryan here. Yeah, we've got to be mindful of our responsibility to our install base. Minecraft, the demographic playing, you know as well as I do, it's all ages, but it's also very young. We have a contract with the people who go online with us, that we look after them, and they are within the PlayStation curated universe. Exposing what in many cases are children to external influences we have no ability to manage or look after. It's something we have to think about very carefully.
It doesn't seem to be a problem for Nintendo, perhaps the most mindful video game company of the protection of children.
Jim Ryan here. Yeah, that's true. Everybody has to take their own decisions. Well, we'll do that. Like I say, we have no philosophical stance against crossplay at all.
Is this a done deal, or are you leaving the door open, perhaps?
Jim Ryan here. I don't think anything is ever done. Anybody who's dogmatic in that matter is typically a fool. That said, to my knowledge, there's no live conversations ongoing at the moment.
I kind of feel like if Jim Ryan were to ever hear this, he'd probably hate you and never really be a big fan of this podcast. But, you know, that's just my opinion. I'm just a crazy guy.
I just felt it in my body. That's the voice Jim Ryan would have while saying that. So it doesn't seem like they're sort of dancing around this issue of crossplay. You had a thought,
yeah.
Gary?
I mean, I think it's interesting. He made a point that I didn't think about before, with the whole idea that basically they're worried that if they're not able to completely control the experience, that it'll like get away from them, or I guess if that's the right word. They want everybody to be in like a PlayStation controlled or Sony controlled, universe. I find that interesting. I didn't really think of it that way before.
Now, whether or not that's autocratic society, let's be honest.
Yeah. I mean, it may be just complete horseshit that he's spewing out, and maybe they are indeed just kind of like dancing around the actual question. But
probably,
I didn't think of that before.
But I mean, do they really control that much of what's going on at Sony? No. Like, can they really control it down to a T of who the players interact with, even if they have a nice name and they like curse somebody out and somebody reports them, and yet nothing gets to it? No one gets to it?
That's the thing. Okay, so Ben, if you're listening to this podcast right now, Ben is a dear friend of mine.
What's up, Ben? Go rate us.
The fact that he hasn't been banned by Sony for life, considering some of the messages he sent while intoxicated.
He's one of those guys?
Well, let's put it this way. A lot of these people had it coming, because either they'll provoke the situation. But anyway, the fact that the messages that are sent on PlayStation and not really like reported, or there's no real action taken against them, it kind of just goes to show you they're not really doing much to monitor the actual world anyway. I mean, unless you like...
Especially if you can attach your message and Sony can actually hear what's been said. I don't understand how they can go against, there's strictly evidence that somebody is saying crazy things and hurtful, mean things to people, but then they're like, Jim Ryan here, I don't think, I don't know if that's necessarily mean. I don't know if we have the responsibility to go comb through every report.
Well, if you look at it this way, he really didn't tell him to go kill himself. He was just saying to get better at the game,
Gary, that's enough for the news this week. There was not that much because everything is focused on E3, and that's what takes us to the next portion of our episode. We're actually going to do our top E3 games. We're actually going to go off of what we have. I was originally thinking top 5, but then more came on to my list. So I just want to read off, start back and forth. Maybe we'll have intermingling ones, and if we do, we'll both talk about them. So Gary, I'll let you start.
Okay, cool. So the first game I had, this is in no particular order, so I'm not really ranking anything here. But one of the games that I was really intrigued by was Anthem.
Oh my God, no way! I had that first too.
Yeah, there you go.
Great minds.
Now, the thing is about this game, okay, so like I said, it's not in particular order, and it's not necessarily the top 5 games that I think are the best. It's just interesting games. So the way I looked at it is kind of like A Way Out, that game. It kind of is like a wild card for me because on one hand, I'm really excited to see what this game does. I thought the trailer was beautiful. I thought that the gameplay was kind of exciting, but we just don't know enough about the game yet to really say whether or not what this game is actually going to be. I know a lot of people are comparing it to Destiny. I'm not sure if that's really fair. I don't really think you should be comparing games that much, to be honest. Adam, you have something to say?
Do you think, as a fan of BioWare, do you think this is going against the fans that have loved BioWare all this time, and it's sort of, taking it, the fans are sort of getting shafted. They expected an actual single-player BioWare game, and now it's, a Destiny, not Destiny clone, but, it's in that vein, shooting.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I've always enjoyed BioWare's work for the most part. I never got a chance to. I haven't really played Mass Effect Andromeda yet, so that aspect of BioWare I haven't experienced. But for the most part, I've always enjoyed their work. I don't really know if it's giving the shaft to their fans. I mean, I guess some people, they want that single-player experience. I wouldn't have minded it personally. But, I mean, seeing as I liked Destiny, I like that type of game, it isn't much a problem for me that they're making this type of game. So I understand that some people are upset. Some people prefer the single-player campaigns and stuff like that. But, I mean, for me, it doesn't really make much of a difference because I like BioWare. I like the kind of work that they do. And I'm interested to see how this game turns out.
I agree. I like the fact that there is more exploration. You can fly up into the sky. It's more than Destiny, I guess you could say. You fly up into the sky. You can fly underneath, swim underneath in your javelin suit or whatever it's called. The game looked beautiful. I like the environment they have going right now with the, sort of jungly terrain that they have. And the thing that's exciting is that I saw that Anthem actually has the writer of Mass Effect 1 and 2 on the game.
That's a good sign.
Which is a great sign because those were, I think, the best Mass Effect games, story-wise in the franchise. 3 I still thought was good, but Mass Effect 1 and 2 I thought were great storytelling. That's basically what you said. You summed it up kind of perfectly. It looks amazing. I want to wait and see what they have to offer. What more can they have to the game? All I do ask is, for these shoot and loot games, I want there be to have more of an end game for a lot of users. I want their reason to continue traversing this world. Destiny, the story didn't get people to go through it a lot of the times. They just wanted to collect the loot, and I want to see if BioWare has an answer for that.
Now, see, this is the thing. It's such a hard thing, I feel like, for these types of games to deal with is the end game content because there's so many people now that will just play through a game in 2 days. They'll just blow through the story. They'll blow through, the major, raids, if you want to call it that. I mean, not every game has a raid, but you get it. The end game content. They'll just blow through it. And then they're like, oh, well, this game doesn't have enough content. And it's like, well, no, you just blew through 40 hours of content in 2 days. Whose problem is that? It's not the company. I mean, it's really tough. I am with this game, with Anthem. I really am curious to see how they how this game is eventually built. Like, will it really be Destiny, or is it going to be kind of like a BioWare game with like a twist or some sort of MMO feel to it? I don't know. It's just, we don't really know much about it yet, but I am intrigued, though, to say the least.
It's not an MMO, Gary. It's a shared shooter. Get your fucking terms right, you Destiny
Looter
whore.
shooter.
Yeah. Moving on. Do you want me to name my next one, since we sort of combined on this first one?
Sure.
My next one is Super Mario Odyssey. I just want to throw that out there because honestly, that game looks really cute. It kind of has me intrigued with the Switch, it coming out this fall. I like the idea they're adding a new wrinkle to the game where as Mario, you can change into different characters. I really adore and love the fact that there's portions of the world where you can warp into a pipe and you pop out in the 8-bit pixelized version of Mario to get through up to another portion of the level. It's finally a new exploration 3D exploration Mario game. It seems like it's sort of combining what they learned from Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. It seems like that's what Nintendo is going for now, more exploration, more different ways to do things, and it seems like that is what's happening with Mario. I saw some people running around New Donk City. You collect these things called moons, which charge your ship to go to different worlds, and I'm sure you're going to love this story. You're trying to stop Bowser, who hired an evil wedding planning company, and you have to take down every one of the planners. So that's exciting stuff. He plans on marrying Peach, so that's there. I kind of want finally their game to be like, Mario captured and Peach goes and saves his stupid ass. I feel like that would be interesting. But I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. It seems like not every level is based on just getting one star, like in Mario 64 or Mario Sunshine. You're going around and you're collecting these moons that there's plenty of throughout the world, and they're sort of collecting coins and buying new outfits, and solving like different issues that are going on in the world. Like one world that's like kind of like Day of the Dead style, skeletons running around with like sombreros on. I think they're skeletons. I could be completely wrong, but it's oddly cold in that area, so you gotta go see what's going on. So that's kind of cool. I think I personally like what they're showing off in Super Mario Odyssey, and I feel like it's a different vibe than you see in others. It's a normal 3D Mario game, but it's also adding new touches to it, which makes it exciting for a lot of people that are fans of the 3D Mario games. Sunshine is underrated. That was a good game. Gary, what's your next one?
Well, to no surprise, Star Wars Battlefront 2. So, I don't know. I'm just so excited to get back into the Star Wars universe. As I've said in the past, the single player for me, really exciting. I kind of like the idea of playing as the bad guy. I've always been more attracted to the villains in Star Wars than actually the heroes, because I feel like that's the way for a lot of people. They like Darth Vader the most.
Sick fuck.
Oh yeah, I'm very evil. But I think the story looks interesting. I think they did a good job, or it looks like they're doing a good job with the campaign. The whole thing. The only thing I hope that doesn't happen with the single player campaign in this is that I've said this before in a long lost episode that I hope that this story doesn't go that route where it's like, oh, the person, you have the bad guy, you're playing as the villain, and all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, it's like, oh, wait a minute, I've been on the wrong side the whole time, and then you go on this crazy mission to kill people. But no, I'm really excited for the single player campaign. I think that's a good. I think obviously a big criticism of the predecessor was that it had lacked real true content. So I think that's a good step is including that single player campaign. But I'm also obviously excited about the multiplayer. I like the fact that we're gonna be able to play all the eras of Star Wars, even the prequels, the prequel era, the Clone Wars. I like the new class system in the game. The fact that I can basically choose a different class depending on what play style I want to go play as, I guess, or like if I want to run and gun, or if I want to snipe more, or if I want to heal people. And I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited about the customization options. There's plenty of things you can customize in that game, whether it's your loadout, or you can even customize the hero or villain you're going to be playing as. I know I heard that you can customize like Darth Maul, and he'll be different than someone else's Darth Maul that you may be facing. So I think there's a lot of things to be excited about this sequel, and I'm really I just cannot wait for another Star Wars game. It just can't come soon enough.
Are your pants wet, Gary? Because it sounds like they are getting there.
Yeah, it's getting close.
I really hope you're saving your top pick for last. And if you're not, then, don't say that we've already passed your top pick, because that would be awkward, because I'm saving mine for last. That's who's getting the award.
I'll save my top pick for last. All right.
Okay, nice. Good. Okay, good. Oh, it worked out that way. My next pick is Spider-Man. I thought it was awesome. I thought their showcase was amazing. You finally got to see Spider-Man in action. I'm a little nervous about QuickTime events, but a lot of people were saying that that was mostly during the cinematic portions, which I have seen in previous Spider-Mans, but a lot of the traversing and everything feels great, and seeing the gameplay, it looks beautiful, looks amazing. I'm really pumped about Spider-Man. I'm excited that this shockingly is a PS4 exclusive, I believe, and trying to see if they can tell an interesting different Spider-Man story, and it's not a tie-in to the freaking normal Marvel movie universe, Spider-Man Homecoming. I want them to tell a different story, and it seems like I hope they're going that route. And it's been a while since I've played a Spider-Man game, and I'm kind of excited. Insomniac makes great games, and I'm excited to see what they do. And I've seen enough of Spider-Man right now to know that I'm basically in on this game, so I'm hyped. Gary, you go.
Alrighty. So the next pick is Horizon Zero Dawn. Frozen Winds expansion.
Wow, I did not expect that one.
Yeah, you know what it is? Okay, so I said this before. I feel like I'm reiterating a lot of things I said in the E3 special that we did. But I'm just really excited to get back into the world of Horizon. I really enjoyed this game. It really hooked me when it came out. I spent a lot of time going around, investigating all the cauldrons and doing obviously really going in, hard on the story missions and everything. So I'm really excited to play through this again. The unfortunate part about this game, I feel like the original game anyway, is the fact that aside from the main story, I felt like there wasn't really much to do in terms of side quests. I know maybe some people liked them. I personally wasn't a huge fan. I didn't really feel like they had much to really offer or really to grab hold of. So I'm excited to actually play some more story-driven content and really get back into that, maybe a different, more dark story. So that's pretty much it. I mean, just excited to play Horizon again.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit of a cop-out, Gary, because you already know the game's good.
Yeah, but it's an expansion. Come on.
All right, I'll move on to my next one. I'm still excited for South Park: The Fractured Butthole. I'm really pumped for that game. It's coming out this year. They have a release date, Gary. It's coming out. I am going to believe it again. I've been burned once already, but I will not be burned again. I promise. It's coming out. I feel it. They wouldn't say it again. They wouldn't say a specific date. I don't think. I would hope not. If they don't have a set belief that it's coming out, then I think it's coming out this year. I really hope it is. I may have just spewed that out of my asshole. Funny enough, it's Fractured Butthole. See what I did there? But yeah, I'm excited. The first game, Stick of Truth, made me laugh more than I ever expected in a video game. And I'm not a fan of South Park too much. I don't watch it that often, but I love that game, and I love the RPG mechanics of this. And it seems like they're doing a whole new system in the Fractured Butthole now. That it's a different take. They're doing superheroes, and it seems like it has a more tactical setup. Stop giggling, Gary. You're not 5, okay?
That name is so absurd. It's actually hilarious, but yeah.
It's South Park. What can you expect? So,
yeah.
I mean, that's basically why I'm excited. The first game was great. We'll see. It seems like everything that I've seen so far of the Fractured Butthole is exciting, and everything I've seen of the Fractured Butthole is glorious and beautiful. And
you're doing this on purpose now.
Yes, I am. Sorry, the name keeps making me laugh. I'm a 5-year-old now. But yeah, I'm excited for the systems that they've been showing off, and the writers of South Park are hilarious, so I'm looking forward to it. So, Gary, your turn.
All right, so the next game is A Way Out. So
nice.
Let me. I want to start this off by saying this game could be a complete bust, but to be honest, I'm really interested in this game. I like the Prison Break story. It's already intriguing as it is, but I thought it was interesting that they went with the whole split screen game. Like you're forced to basically play split screen with a friend. It's a co-op experience. I'm a big fan of playing games with friends, just not with Adam. There we go. I was hoping you'd catch that. But
Fuck you.
But yeah, I just feel like this E3 kind of presented a lot of games that everyone already knew about. Whether it was like the Lost Legacy for Uncharted or Assassin's Creed Origins. I just feel like this game kind of went in a different direction, did something different, did something unique, and I think that says something, And I think it was just I wanted to mention this kind of as a testament to this game, being that different experience. So I'm looking forward to see what happens with this game, how it comes along in its development process, and I look forward to maybe playing it in the future with Adam, for example. Maybe we'll do a live stream of us playing A Way Out. Who knows, people? Who knows?
Support us.
Content creation.
But yeah, good choice, Gary. You speaking about a unique game that is shown at E3 jogged my memory that I wanted to put this game down, so I added something to the list. So it was showcased at Xbox. It was called The Last Night, I believe. Simple enough to get me into it. It had the Blade Runner setting, which is sci-fi but gritty, and pixel art. Perfect. Done. Sold. Didn't know too much exactly what was going on with the game, what you're doing, but I'm sold. Case closed. I'm out. That's the next game I had. Gary, you go.
All right. So this is my top pick because I actually stuck to 5 games. I was given 5 games. He told me top 5, and he broke his own rules. So here I am. I'm giving you my top game. You said you had more.
Right, you said you had more before we talked about this before the episode. You son of a bitch! Don't make me out to be the villain. You piece of crap! I will burn
tired.
you.
You have no idea what you're talking about. You're tired. You're delusional. No, my top game is Far Cry 5.
Solid.
Okay, so
that's on my list.
I've been really. Oh, okay, cool. So we can both chip in.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I from the moment I heard about this game and the moment I heard that this game was in Montana, I was really excited about what the story could hold, and I'm really happy that they went with that creepy, cult vibe. But I'm just really excited to get back again. I feel like I've said this 3 times now. I'm excited to get back into the Far Cry world. I like the fact that the villain this time around seems to be like a real scumbag. I've been waiting for that. I wanted like kind of like a Voss type villain where you hate the villain, you want to kill the guy. I like it. I like it a lot. The another thing that I really liked, at least that I saw in the gameplay trailer, was the ability to give commands to your sidekicks. I kind of like that gameplay mechanic. I like that you can command people now to go to like certain vantage points, support you in a firefight. I also was really intrigued by the aerial combat. Again, this could be bad. I don't know if the aerial combat's going to turn out well or not, but I think if it does turn out well, it could be a really great addition to the Far Cry experience.
Also,
but overall,
let's be clear, if that fucking main villain, I forget his name, kills that dog, he is dead. He is dead.
It's on.
It's on, motherfucker.
Yeah, it is on.
Yeah, I think they did a great job showing off Far Cry. I wonder if the trailer sort of was reacting to what the backlash of people being upset about the cult setting with religion and everything, and they sort of made it more jovial and fun. Even though a lot of those things that were in the trailer are things that you could do, but they put it to a the backdrop of a fun song. But I mean, that is also E3, and it's more of a happy time than
I just don't understand why everything has to be a political thing. Like, can we just enjoy the game? I mean, these people are clearly mentally ill. They're in a cult. They're in a cult, people. If you're in a cult and you're offended by this, I'm sorry, but you're in a cult. No. It's like, if you're a religious person, that's great.
Sounds
awesome.
like a duck.
I'm just saying, like, if you're Christian, you're Jewish, that's great. Awesome. We're not saying that these people are Jewish. They're just crazy people in a cult. They're killing people. That's all you gotta know, people.
Sometimes I just want to let creators and writers make the work that they want to do, and not give them shit. Because after a while, you give them enough shit, you're not going to have a creative works. You're just going to have people taking bland steps and never going to go out on a limb to make a new game. You're not going to get these Far Cries. You're not going to get you're not going to get. If we're in a different world, you're not going to get Voss basically from Far Cry 3. You're not going to get all these crazy steps that people take, or the crazy villains that they write just because people get angry. I mean, this
isn't even that controversial, though. That's the whole thing. It isn't even that controversial. It's just people trying to make shit up. True. Everyone's got to be pissed off all the time. Everyone's got to be offended.
It's the internet, man. Everyone's
just
offended
have fun,
about something.
People. Just have fun by killing crazy cold people. Come on.
Yeah.
Have
seriously.
fun, people.
Fuck them up.
But yeah, that's my top pick, Far Cry 5. It's going to be lit, as the kids say. Adam, what other games you got?
I have two more to go.
Cool.
The second to last one is God of War. I was really excited about what they showcased. I liked the crazy combat that they had. It looks like sort of going to have an interaction, father-son interaction. It seems like they're going to be trying to make Kratos to be more of an actual character. They're going to touch on previous games, but not going to go too in-depth with it. The game looks beautiful. I like the brutal KOs that you can see in God of War. We mentioned it on the last episode where Kratos slams a burning boulder or brick or piece of wood down on this gigantic ogre. It seems like the combat is fluid. What you expect from God of War has a different take on it. It seems kind of like a Tomb Raider-ish vibes where you have like a somewhat of open world, but it's more linear. I'm sold on it. It looks amazing. Taking down more gods and new mythical beasts should be a lot of fun. So, Gary, you excited for my last one?
Absolutely. I'm actually really interested to see what it is, to be honest.
I mean, it seems like this game is... Again, when the first one came out, a lot of people were underselling it and not paying attention to it, and now it's happening again with E3. I feel like no one is paying attention to it, and I feel like it's going to blow people out of the water again, and that is Shadow of War. I am so fucking pumped for this mother effing game. You don't even understand. I'm so excited. I mean, the first one was amazing. I love the Nemesis system that they had, and they're applying it now to even a grander scale. You're attacking fortresses in Mordor. Every overlord is different. You're going to have different interactions, and the amount of times you get killed by somebody can change the interaction you have with them. All the orcs are going to be different, and they're voice acted differently. You can have revenge stories going on with orcs that were in your party, got killed, resurrected, and now they're out against you. You can set spies into the camp. I'm excited. Seeing the game mode of attacking a fortress, how chaotic it is insane. It's a lot of fun just watching it. So I'm really pumped. I feel like people are not paying attention to this game like they didn't pay attention to Shadow of War or Shadow of Mordor, and they're going to be pleasantly surprised again. From what I'm seeing, this game looks fantastic. I'm sold on it. It looks like they, made tweaks to the game that they needed to. They didn't need to make too many tweaks to the gameplay in general because the combat and everything, all those systems were fantastic. I thought they were fluid in the first one. Really excited for the second one, see what they add on to and what new abilities you can use and all the different interactions that you can have with orcs and traversing the overworld, taking out outposts to then help you conquer the war. I forget what it's called, the fortress. There it is. So it's exciting. It's exciting to see you build up power to then finally, overtake these ogres or orcs and send them against other, orcs or yokai or goblins. And it should be a lot of fun. And I am pumped, as you can tell, Gary, by this. I am so excited. So, yeah. So congrats to Monolith Productions, the developer of Shadow of War, and Ubisoft Montreal, developer of Far Cry 5. They officially get the first E3 awards from Two Jersey Kids. You can now be officially titled the armpits of E3 2017. Yay!
That's one hell of an award, folks.
Exactly. And I'm excited. I'm going to tweet to them tomorrow and see if they notice. Maybe they won't. Maybe they will. Maybe they'll get excited. Maybe they will be ecstatic that we gave him this award. Do you think they'll be excited?
That'd be kick-ass. Dude, if they aren't, it's not like anyone's going to know. So let's just go out and
fuck it.
Do it.
Do it to it, man. This has been episode 42 of Two Jersey Kids. Gary, how do you think this episode went?
It went good. It's funny. I know you are in the same boat as I am. I'm pretty tired, and I was pretty damn hungry when I got on. I was so hungry. I was actually at that point where your stomach's killing you, and you're kind of like losing it a little bit. You're kind of shaky. That's where I was at.
Yeah.
So,
oh man, that's rough. You should have stopped and grabbed something to eat.
Well, no,
I could ramble on for hours upon hours, and people will love it.
I did eat something before I got on, so I wasn't too bad. But I was tired. I was hungry. But you know what? It's always a good time being here on 2JK or Two Jersey Kids. I enjoy spewing my bullshit into into this microphone here and having all these people listen. So thanks for being here, folks.
Yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed this sort of interesting, special kind of Friday episode of Two Jersey Kids. Please, if you're a new listener and you went through this whole rigmarole of listening to us, the car crash that is Two Jersey Kids, the video game podcast that we are, we release every Tuesday and Friday, and I hope you subscribe so you can listen to us ramble more and more and more, because there's plenty more rambling to come on, and I'm doing it right now, and I apologize. So please go follow us on Twitter at Two Jersey Kids. Please, please, please subscribe, and please, please rate us on iTunes. It'll help us out so much, get more eyes on the podcast, hopefully grow this community to be the best that it can be.
Community, it's catching on.
And just remember, if you are a new listener and you subscribe to this podcast and you interact with us, you are officially a Jersey Kid. So take that with what you will. It's exciting stuff. You're an honorary Jersey Kid. So, yay! Woo! Lucky you! Gary, say bye!
Adios!
All right, y'all. Have a good one. Keep playing those games. Have a great weekend. Do all the things you want to do. Keep being great. Bye.